Okay. How's it going today, guys? What we have today is Crusader Misc Tumbril Day. So we're just going to do a quick round of the showroom. This is Hellhawk. But yeah, today's kind of an exciting day. I know that a lot of folks that are into industry will be looking forward to picking up one of these behemoths. They are some of the, is it C2? Yeah, so they have the C2, which is the highest capacity transport ship in the game currently. You can transport multiple tanks, ballista, tons of other vehicles if you'd like, smaller vehicles like the Cyclones or Ursus. But anyways, we have the Crusader, a fleet. We have the Misc combat fleet. So the Misc doesn't have a whole lot of combat variants. So the majority of their ships will not be on sale today. But the ones that they do have are pretty interesting. And then we have, of course, Tumbril, which is going to be the ground vehicles. So we're going to get started with the small stuff first. Let's go ahead and head downstairs to the Hollow Suite. I do want to comment on how badass of a... like, looking at this from the front and the tank spread there. I can't wait to see this in game, where people have a reason to get a fleet of C2s together and just drop off a giant wave of ground forces. Hopefully, the upcoming update for planetary nav mesh will give us bad guys on the ground, which will give them a little room to expand and add, enemy tanks or enemy ballista. So we'll see. We're not quite there yet. Let's go ahead and start off with the Timbrel Nova. This is a beast of a tank. It feels like it's like 2 stories tall. It's ridiculously large profile, but it's, well, tanky. It's got 3 shields, decent amount of health points. And this thing is pretty well equipped. We've got gun racks for the crew. We've got a turret. So the turret gunner can control the main turret. Or the main turret can be slaved to the pilot, if I remember correct. This is actually the highest damage gun in the game. It's size 5. And I think, according to Urkel, the alpha was like 18,000 damage. Which is insane, because the size 7 gun on the Ion's like 1,500 or some shit like that. So yes, don't want to start the Ion fight again. But yeah, bigger guns need to do more damage. Anyways, you have a co-pilot seat. They have access to the remote turret, which is twin size 2. And then you have the pilot seat. The other thing this has is a shit ton of size 2 missiles. I'm trying to see if I can see it. Yeah, so that right there is the missile pack. Overall, this is probably the deadliest ground vehicle in the game. I know that they have the ballista, which is like those size 7 torpedoes are amazing, but this just has so much ordnance. You can definitely fight for a hell of a lot longer in this thing. As far as purchasing it, so if you want to purchase it, I believe it's 120 bucks in real money. My philosophy for any ground vehicle is hell no, unless you're buying something really cheap like a hover bike or maybe that Drake Mule that comes out tomorrow as an LTI token. There's really no point in buying ground vehicles with real cash because they're so damn cheap in game. Let's take a look at the Timbrel Cyclone series. We'll start with this guy. I believe it's the RN, which is the recon variant, so it's got like a radar dish on top. Now, I don't believe the functionality is in the game where that really works yet, but eventually this will be an amazing little long-distance scout car. So kind of like the Terrapin for the ground. Next, we're going to go with the TR. It has a turret in the back. Pretty cool animation. I believe this is a size 1 gun. Yep, it's a yellow jacket. Of course, it doesn't show you. But anyways, size 1 gun. Decent field of fire. It may not seem like much if you're taking on aircraft. But if you are on the receiving end of that and you're an infantryman, you're probably not having a very good day. This is the Cyclone Anti-Aircraft. I believe are those size 2s? I think those are size 2s. 4 size 2 missiles. Again, it's in the name. It's meant to post up and blow up shit that comes into range. I don't really see the need for this one as much. That one, you know, with the size 1 gun, okay, fine, whatever. But if you're going to get the one that only has AA, why not get the MT? This thing has a size 1 gun, and then the 4 size 2 missiles ready to go. Yeah, it requires a gunner where I can't remember if this is fired from the pilot station. I mean, regardless, like, just hop out of the fucking thing and sit there and be a stationary turret. Like, to me, this makes way more sense than anything else going on as far as the Cyclones are concerned. Now, they also have another Cyclone, which isn't here, that's just transport, where this back doesn't have a gun, it's just like a space for a box. Now, technically, it's not a military variant, which is why it's not here. But just letting you know that there's another option there. So let's go ahead and transition over to the Holo Suites. See what we got. The Misc Endeavor. I'm going to try and keep as much salt out of this as I possibly can. Oh, sorry, Misc Odyssey. Misc Odyssey, sorry. This is a humongous ship. It's a little larger than the Carrack. It's got a hangar that's supposed to carry a light fighter, if I remember right. And see that little thing underneath? That is actually a mining turret. And you have a mining laser. It can refine its own fuel, can't do shit else. So imagine this is a giant RV in space. It has no synergies with the Misc Prospector. You know, being an exploring ship, you would have thought that it would work with its own vehicle to, you know, refine shit, but whatever. It's it's basically an RV that can refuel itself. So if that's your cup of tea, this thing has got a decent amount of guns. It's tanky as shit. You're not going to take it in a fight on purpose, but if you get jumped, I don't see this going down very quickly. And of course, the ability to carry a light fighter, I mean, it's just a force multiplier. Or, you know, a scout ship or something that can do both. Believe this one was $700. It doesn't really appeal to me. I've got the Carrack. I think I'm good there. But again, another larger explorer ship. Hopefully we see this within a year or two. It was announced, I believe, in October of last year. Or December of last year. Sometime last year. End of last year. Let's see what else we got. We've got the Tumble Ranger. Now, there's a couple bikes in-game that are hover bikes. But in real life, I love to ride motorcycles. And this is 2 wheels on. This is a motorcycle with guns strapped to the fucking thing. Like, how can you get better than this? Are you going to be able to hit anything with those? Who cares? It's just cool. They're on there. Now, there are different variants of the Ranger. I think they have like a touring one, they have a racing one, and they have the combat one. Obviously, the combat one is for sale due to today's, well, sale. Not in the game yet. When is it going to be in? We have no idea. I can't even remember how many years ago that was announced as a concept. We're starting to see more and more ground stuff in the game, so it's possible. It's small. It hopefully isn't too painful for them to produce. I'm assuming the reason why it's not in game yet is because it's a 2-wheeled vehicle, and it would be the first 2-wheeled vehicle in the game. So it takes a little extra for them to actually get through the like doing the I want to say flight model, but you know what I'm saying, the driving model for the ship. Okay, let's hit the big boys next. We got the C2 Herc. Highest cargo capacity in the game currently. Front and rear ramp, so you can drive tanks on and off, or vehicles on and off. You can actually park smaller ships in here too, if you have pilots that don't suck. So the first level is just all cargo. You have an elevator and you have a ladder, which I'm glad they thought of this. This is something that a lot of ships don't do. If your power completely dies, which eventually is going to be able to happen, how the hell are you supposed to get through the floors if you don't have a freaking ladder as a backup? Well, let's check. So again, the C2 is technically the civilian variant, but it can carry tanks, which is, I'm assuming, why they're selling it here today. Tons of little component storage, as well as, I believe, some of this is just storage. But great animations. I love how they laid this out. Yeah, so this is just storage, which is not functional yet. Right now, you just hit inventory and you can dump shit in, but eventually, these are going to come in handy because you're not just going to be able to dump things in the magic inventory. You're going to actually have to find a freaking container. Just some views of the... So keep in mind, we're like in the upper spine of the ship. No one knows what the hell that is, and just rule of cool, essentially. More components, more engines. Like, they did a fantastic job with how they modeled this ship. I really do like the aesthetic of the Crusader ships. Let's go ahead and check out the recreation den real quick. So this has got, bookshelf, TV, couch, place for, basically a kitchen, a full-service kitchen. So this is going to be one of those, if you have to take a longer haul, you've got all the amenities you need. Also, we have a habitation room. There is space for, so one, two, is that only a two-man crew? I guess it's just a two-man crew. And you have the toilet and shower facilities here. That's an amazing monitor setup. Great workspace. Okay, now let's move towards the front. And we have the giant, just as stupid as this is, the way that they did the animations and the way that they modeled this is, I think it's fantastic. Crusader really does a great job, when shit decides to work. So, major component storage along the side, which is nice with the two-man crew. You're going to want to be able to get to the important shit quickly if something goes down. And you have a ton of weapon racks. Why you have this many weapons for a two-man crew, I don't know, but I don't care because I like to stock up on shit. 2, 4, 6, 8 rifles per rack and 3, 6, so 12 guns per rack. So that can be handguns, mini-guns, multi-tools, whatever. So 24 handguns and 16 rifles. And then you have your suit holders, which of course don't do shit right now because those are non-functional. And then you have your escape pods. The cockpit, little thing here, they got like a handgun holder, which I thought was kind of cool. MFD, I think in the M2 and the A2 this is functional. But anyways, the animations are pretty sweet. You sit in the chair. Oh, it rolls you up. You have so many MFDs in this thing, you'll never need more information. And actually what's nice is a lot of these buttons, they're not showing now because this is a demo, but a lot of these buttons here are actually functional. Now, one thing you'll note when you fly this compared to other ships, Crusader ships are insanely good in atmosphere. They're just really fast. Now, they chew through fuel like no other. But if you're looking for a cargo ship that doesn't handle like a brick, this is the ship for you. Let's just go down the ladder. This is supposed to technically open up. It doesn't always. Oh, there it did. Okay. Just slide down the ladder. Well, that's the C2 in a nutshell. As far as guns, the pilot has access to 2 size 5 gun bays, which I believe are standard with 2 size 4s on gimbals. You're not going to be dogfighting in this thing. But if you need the forward-facing firepower to tell something to fuck off, not bad to have. The underside turret has a pretty decent view. I believe twin size 4, I could be wrong. The only gripe I have with this ship is its defensive capabilities. that top turret has very little angle. It's very limited. So if you are being attacked from straight up top, you're screwed. There's nothing you're going to be able to do. And even though you're quick, you're not fast enough to keep someone from just staying up there all day. Your best bet's to run and hope they fall behind so your rear turret can hit them. But I think if they had placed that top turret somewhere else, somewhere a little higher, it would have made a hell of a lot more sense. I understand that they're probably trying to build in some weaknesses for the ship. It's just, I just feel like it may have also been oversight. Okay, let's go to the M2. M2 is kind of the next step up. So this is technically, of course, we don't have armor in the game, but this is supposed to be the up-armored variant. It has, as far as exterior, aside from the paint, that front turret, that front remote turret has a really good viewing angle. That is twin size 4s. And that is the only exterior difference between the... I mean, again, with armor not in the game, I have no clue whether or not I can really advise you purchase an M2 over a C2. If you're going to look at it for cash or in-game. In cash, the C2's 400. This guy, I believe, is 520. And then the A2 is the bomber. That thing's $750. I mean, I can see maybe the C2 with cash if you've got the extra dough lying around. But the other two, I can't justify it yet. We're not there yet. The functionality really isn't in the game yet. I mean, so as far as interior, it doesn't look like it's smaller, and it's not. It's just that what they're saying is the maximum mass that the ship can handle is reduced because of the extra armor plating. So it has a lower total cargo capacity, which makes sense. I don't think the mass functionality for cargo is in the game yet, but eventually it will be. Again, cargo refactor. So a couple differences here. So let's take a look. Remember, this is technically the first of the series. It's a military vessel. Here's the habitation. We have a little bit of an expanded crew. We only have 3 people. And the kitchen, remember the kitchen was over there before. Now it's a smaller, a little bit more simplistic kitchen setup. Still have a pretty decent living space. You still have the washrooms on either side. If we go over here, this is where this ship really changes, the auxiliary crew. So this is designed, per lore, you're supposed to be able to load a bunch of troops and a bunch of equipment on this thing and go to town. So you've got 12 jump seats. Oh, no, I didn't want to sit. You have 12 jump seats. You have their own little food dispensers here for your passengers. If this worked, I'm assuming this is also another bathroom for your... Yep, this is another bathroom. Well, it's just a shitter. It's not a... What do you call it? A shower as well. And then you have the Armory, which I think they did a really cool job with this. I can't wait until we can actually store suits in these. But yeah, so far, in a shit ton of weapons. Now these bigger racks, I'm assuming they mean these to be for like rocket launchers and railguns. I don't know if they actually work. I haven't tried them yet. I haven't had a reason to, because right now you can just dump weapons in the ship. Yeah, so that's the change to this room. Now let's go to the pilot seat. Okay. Slight difference. You remember how it had weapon racks here? Well, now, since those have been moved back to the auxiliary room, you just have extra escape pods. And if you notice, let's do a count. You have 3 crew, and you have 8 escape pods. Are there any other escape pods? Let's take a quick look, because I feel like you don't. So, if you have 8 escape pods and 15 people, well, you better draw straws before you jump in this thing to figure out who's going first. Because there are no other escape pods. I feel... This is the one thing I can't stand about this frickin' ship. If they're going to have escape pods... hold on, let me walk you through the logic. if you have a situation where you may or may not be dropping troops on a front line or to a fob or whatever, your crew are of 12 people, your auxiliary crew, your Marines. If there's an emergency, a couple of those guys are going to be able to run to the front and hit an escape pod. The rest of them have to hope to Christ this elevator works. Or they have to one by one slowly fly down this ladder and then hope they can get a door open and then jump out. Like, in an emergency situation, this ship is fucked. What I don't get is why these jump seats aren't on the sides of the ship down. Like, if you imagine like a C-130, the jump seats are on the ground level next to the the exit. Essentially, I think you have doors on either side, and then you have the main ramp. So if shit goes south, hopefully those guys have parachutes. They can jump out. If shit goes south here, your guys are dead. You're not going to be able to do anything. And it's not like there's additional jump seats down there. It's just, oh well. We have more Marines. Again, I think it's a complete oversight on the ship. There is no emergency strategy, and I don't see... I feel like they should have included that. Now, as far as this setup here, you have a third seat. It has access to the remote turret in the front. The co-pilot is the one who controls the bottom and the top turret. Does it allow me to enter? It does not. It is just... Oh, there it is. So, yeah. So, again, the co-pilot gets that gun. And this gun. And just, I know they are not powered on right now, but if you look right there to the left of the H, you see it's like a trapezoid next to a rectangle that folds out and back, and that's where your two size 5 weapons are. So again, aside from the whole emergency situation being screwed thing, slight upgrade over the C2 if your purpose is to transport troops. The other thing you can do is just leave the troops inside the frickin' vehicles. Maybe life support won't support that later, but currently you can just leave them in a Spartan. And if this ship blows up, the Spartan usually survives. Okay. Last but not least, the big boy, the A2. This is the AC-130 gunship type deal. Now, I'm not a huge fan. If you looked at the original concept for the ship, it looked so much cooler, but they probably didn't want to bother because of the reduced turret angles, and people would have found something to complain about. But either way, I think this thing has more firepower than a hammerhead, and it's all sitting underneath of it, or most of it's sitting underneath of it. This is a size 5 single gun. Again, we're just going to go over the one side because it duplicates on the other. Twin size 5 turret, and then twin size 4 turret, and then of course twin size 5, single size 5. And that is a lot of firepower. But then it gets better, because this introduced the first bomb in the game. Now, I don't remember if you watched the like Retaliator or Eclipse overview I did. The size 9 torpedoes being absolutely nasty. I think 100,000 damage, which one-shots anything in the game currently aside from the Idris and above. So Idris, Javelin, Bengal, whatever. These are size 10. And where the missile do 100,000 damage, the bombs do 500,000 damage, instantly killing anything that's in the blast radius. I think the blast radius is like a kilometer or more, so it sucks to get hit with this. Now, these are 30,000 apiece to rearm, not exactly cheap. They don't penetrate bunkers, sadly. I think that would have been freaking awesome. Just clear out a bunker bounty. But that isn't an option currently. There's another bomb type that they were supposed to do, which is kind of like, think of it like a crate of smaller bombs, so you can, just carpet bomb an area. Eventually that'll come, but 4 gigantic bombs. I cannot wait until ground combat's a thing, and you just have a fleet of these blowing shit up as they fly above. And then if anything survives, they just hover above the area of operation and just rain hell down with the other weapons. Personally, if you are going to do a ground support, throw a bunch of C-788s on this thing. If you are an infantryman and you're getting shot at with those, it is fucking terrifying. Hab module, we'll do that first real quick. This has more crew because of all the gunners, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8. And again, same kitchen as the last one. The door wasn't working, that was kind of hilarious. And then let's see what we've got in the turret section. So all the remote stations are here, and then you also have the armory, like we did in the M2. And that's pretty much it. I believe that the front is the same as the M2. Yep, front's the same as the M2. Same idea. But I mean, now 4, 8, and you only have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crew. You actually have an extra escape pod. This makes sense. You're not required to go downstairs for any reason in an emergency. Yeah, I just it bugs me. It really bugs me. But again, like I said, this guy is best bought in game. It's $750. To put that in perspective, you could buy a frickin' Polaris, which is supposed to be a mobile base with a shit ton of torpedoes, turrets, a hangar, a med bay, cargo space. This is cool. It just doesn't compare. You're not getting enough functionality out of that to rival the cost of the most expensive ships in game. If that thing was like $500, it's still kind of pricey considering the shit isn't in the game yet, but okay, I could see it. Of course, they gotta show me my F8, which I can't fly yet. Let's see what we have in the final thing. I believe it's Misc. Now keep in mind, Misc has the majority of Misc's fleet is actually a civilian. It's manufacturing, it's mining, it's, you know, they're industrial powerhouse. But they do have... Oh, shit. This isn't even Misc. Let's finish up the rest of the Crusader lineup. I went the wrong way. So, Crusader, this is... Okay, there's another thing that kind of bugs me. In lore, Crusader was supposed to not have combat ships. They were supposed to be humanitarian. Well, they switched that because they're like... Instead of giving this... Like, Aegis's thing was gun with a little bit of ship. I really wish they would have made this an Aegis ship. But, overall, the design, pretty fucking sweet. This is the Inferno. Size 7 Gatling cannon. Now... The Ion, which is the white one over there, and this guy, had a bit of a... We're going to call it a rough entry into the verse last October, I think it was. It's a size 7 gun. No, they advertised it as an A10. Well, this gun's inaccurate as shit. Bullets are really slow. So it's really only good at hitting a hammerhead. And the bullets really don't do size 7 damage. It's cool. But you're going to use half a mag trying to take out a hammerhead. An AI hammerhead, which is actually less... they are less sturdy than player. So, I mean, should this be able to solo a hammerhead? If it's flown right, yes. But I was really hoping for a little bit more accurate and slower fire. Because in my mind, once we hit size 7, that's like the Perseus heavy cannons are size 7. That's when I feel like instead of like Bert, I want a fucking Bofors pom-pom gun that when those rounds hit, they fucking feel it. Right now, it's just, okay, whatever. I'm getting hit by a machine gun. Has size 5 launchers in the bottom. So you can switch those out with 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. I think the torpedo is only single one. Size 4s are 2, size 3s are 4, and then size 2s are 8. So that's up to 16 additional missiles, and then this little block, can I see it? Not really. It's not a great spot. Can I see it from here? You can kind of see it from here. Okay, so there is, see that little triangle right there? That folds back, and there's a single missile launcher in there that's got a bunch of size 3 missiles. And by single, what I mean is it can launch one missile at a time. Which... Oh, well, that works too. Shit. The, I mean, size 3s do a fair amount of damage. So if you can stagger fire or set yourself up, see how that thing folds out right there? Set yourself up to have some time to launch a few missiles. This is actually a great missile chucker. I have this. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. We got to see what they do with the bigger weapons. The Ion was an absolute shit show. People were bitching that the size 7... Remember, the average size gun on a fighter is like 2 or 3 right now. There are a couple with size 4s. But right now, 3 is kind of the standard. This is fucking size 7. It's meant to take out big ships. And then they reduce the damage, so if you have a pilot in a light fighter who gets shot by this behemoth, they can survive it. I'm sorry, guys, that's absolutely stupid. In PvP combat, you don't want to use cannons because the rounds are slow. They only go 700 meters a second, and a lot of times you're not going to hit with those because the round is so slow. You can just move out of the way. Well, this thing has a max range of, I think, 2,800 meters. And then the round only goes 700 meters a second. I'm sorry, but if you get hit by that, you're not maneuvering. This fighter has great maneuverability. But if you get in close, this thing's fucking dead. It can't outmaneuver a light fighter. The whole point was, at range, this thing dominated, and when it gets close, you better get the hell out. It's like, oh no, I got glitched. Okay, whatever. I'll finish my speech. But anyways, in their infinite wisdom, they reduced the accuracy of this thing after marketing it as a fucking sniper ship. And then also made it so that it's not just inaccurate. I mean, inaccurate is just... It's so inaccurate you can't even use it unless you're within like 1,000 meters of a target, 1,200 meters of a target. And I'm talking about going up against hammerheads. So again, Ion's extremely disappointing for me. I think the quote-unquote balance pass they did was absolutely stupid. Well, shit. I think I'm going to have to kill myself and fly all the way back here. If it spawns me at Area 18, I'm going to be pissed. Well, this is what I get for jumping around top of a ship. Can I get out of this? No. Okay, fine. Fuck it. Boom. Could I have looted my armor? I could have. I just don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Now, is it going to make me go all the way back to ArtCorp? That's the question. Dun dun dun. So if this happens, I don't want to break the... I think this is Origin. Origin. Yeah, good. The local services took over. Ah, shit. This is ArtCorp. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna finish this overview from the showroom because this will take me. Okay, nice to see people are fucking with the chair still. I'm just gonna do the overview from the website so that I can quickly go through the rest of these, and we'll call that the stream for today. Sorry about that. I did not see myself getting stuck there. Hold on. Okay, so now you guys should be able to see my screen. So let's look at... Okay. Okay. So we went through most of Crusader. Oh, yeah, like I said, 750. Kind of stupid. I'm a ballistic guy. Like I said, I hope they fix these, but I don't see either one of these as worth it. If you want to do ERTs, hop in a fucking Eclipse, or hop in a what do you call it? Hop in a Tally and go to town. Costs you $100 less for the Tally, and you can one-shot ships. One thing that I didn't get to before I got stuck was they have a decent amount of storage in here. They also have a weapon rack in the back, so it does make an okay ship if you're going to do mixed bounties. Just remember, if it's smaller than a VHRT ship, so like a Vanguard or a Valkyrie, you're not going to be able to hit shit. And you better sit back and chuck missiles, because trying to kill the smaller ships with these guns is kind of painful. C2, we already went over that. M2, already went over that. I really wish I would have gotten to this before I hopped out. The Mercury has a couple cool features, including a smuggling area. Like they have an underneath the ship, it's got a whole network of small passages that takes you back to a smuggling deck. Like, so you have your main thing, and then you have your smuggling deck. That's a cool all-around ship. Great multi-purpose ship. 3 crew. You can do mining, you can do bounty hunting, you can do cargo running. If you're looking for something to spend real money on, this would be one I recommend. Tumbril we already went over. And then we got Misc. The Misc is the one I was talking about, where most of their shit is industrial. And so they only have 4 ships. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Freelancer Misc has so much potential as a gunship. But right now, with missiles, there's issues with missiles not reloading sometimes, manually loading missiles. I'm a huge missile and ballistic fan, and right now those are the 2 weapon systems that are the most broken in the game. I would hold off on this until they fix that shit. But it is, when it's working, this is a fun ship to do anything up to. I wouldn't recommend soloing an ERT in this. You can do it. I've done it before. But it makes a good group support ship because you can just sit back and just blow shit up from a distance. The Razor EX. I don't think it's worth $155. It's a scout ship. It's really fast and straight line. It has very little as far as firepower. I think these are size 2 shotguns or size 1 shotguns. Cool fucking ship, though. Buy it in-game. And this is an in-game. And as far as stealth, Urkel, so stealth is kind of screwed up right now. They keep changing things, trying different things. I think the stealth on this is only like 5% reduction in component signature, so not really. It's got black paint. That's basically what it is. There's a racing version and like a drag racing version, if I remember right, too. The Tana, another one that I wish I would have been able to get to before the shit trapped me on top of that ion. If you are regularly playing with a friend, this is one of my most recommended ships in the game. And the reason is, the Tana has 2 SU or cargo space, so just enough if you have to do like a minor delivery mission. It's got weapon racks, so you can take out a bunker and store the weapons actually in the racks, which a lot of the other starter ships, like aside from like the 300 series, I think the 100 series from Origin also has it. But I feel like they covered most of their bases with the Tana. Also, has one of the highest firepower ratings in the game. If you have a second person, that person can use these outboard turrets, so it flies like shit in atmosphere, but if you fly in a straight line, zoom past your target, your co-pilot can turn these guns around and fuck shit up as it chases you. So if you fly it right and you have a co-pilot, this is actually an extremely deadly ship. And I've used this for VHRTs, because it has, so right now this loadout is size 1 gimbaled. There is a setup where you can swap this out for what's called a Toshima turret, which allows 2 size 2s. So in total, you'll end up with 1, 2, 3, 4 size 2s and then 2 size 1s, all gimbaled. This thing just slaps. It is... You will not dodge fire. You're a massive target. But if you get used to flying this is a very, very competent ship. And then it has a shit ton of missiles. It's got like 16 size 2 missiles. Plus the 4 on the wings, I think. So, for what you're paying, this actually has the firepower of a Hornet. And actually, it has more firepower than the Hornet. So, something to consider. Again, great all-around ship. The Misc Reliant series has been bugged in the past. You can't bedlog in the fucking thing yet because it reverts. So it's got 2 modes. It's got like this mode where it flies flat, where these engines basically like curl into these ports. And when in that mode, the bay between your cockpit and the rest of your ship is open. But when it's in this mode, it's closed. So when you bedlog, you wake up, and for some reason it puts it in this fucking mode. And then you're locked out of your cockpit. So don't bedlog in it. That's the only thing you can't do right now. But otherwise, like I said, very capable ship. Last but not least, Starfarer Gemini. Now, the Starfarer as a concept is a phenomenal ship. It was designed as an FPS level, though, so the interior is basically the worst interior in the game, hands down. Now, the good news is they have announced they will be changing that soon, TM. But we don't know when. Now, they just reintroduced, or they just recently introduced refueling, which this is one of the 2 ships capable of doing it. The Gemini and the civilian variant, the Starfarer. Cool mechanic, but there's almost zero utility until Pyro launches. So, this is kind of next year Invictus. I'd say grab it because people are going to need fuel rats and Pyro. But this year, man. Now, as far as firepower, this is a refueling ship, keep in mind, and a supply ship. 4 size 4 gimbal for the pilot. That is a fuel scoop that's been replaced with a missile launcher. I think it's got 9 size 3 missiles. It's got 2 size 3, twin size 3 Gatlings or, Badger repeater turrets overlooking the fueling area. And then you have a twin size 5 turret on top. And you have a single size 3 shield. And eventually armor will be in the game, and the Gemini will be armored to hell. So if you use this thing right, in a convoy, that's a shit ton of firepower. And it's got a lot of weaknesses, but still, if you gotta move shit in a combat zone, or you gotta refuel a combat group, this is going to be the shipping game. Now, currently, this is the largest refueler in game. The second largest being the Vulcan. Will there be other ships that can refuel later? I'm sure there will be. Something like a modular Javelin that's full of fuel for big fleet operations. Who knows? We'll see what happens with a larger ship. But, again, this to me is a next year. Now, this will go up, but yeah, I would still hold off. I feel like that's it. Misc doesn't have a whole lot. Tomorrow is going to be Drake. Tomorrow is the day that I have been waiting for because I need to get my freaking Kraken. I got lucky enough to grab an Idris on Sunday at 3 a.m. The last wave of the sale. And so now, the goal tomorrow is to get the beast. Is it going to show me the beast? No, it's not. I'm just going to show. This is the one thing I've been waiting for this whole freaking year. Because the one thing I hate doing is buying these big packs that have a bunch of shit that I don't need. And the Drake pack has 2 Krakens. One of them is the Privateer, which is a giant floating store, which I could give a shit about. But this is my baby. This is my baby. This is happening tomorrow, hopefully. And just one thing to think about, you know, you look at this ship and like, oh, it's got a medium pad, 4 small pads, 2 underside carriers. That's a lot of firepower. Yeah, well, someone did a if it's so in the game, there's this concept called if it sits, it fits. Which is why you get videos of people putting a bunch of shit in spots you weren't supposed to be able to. Well, someone took the model of an arrow with the wings folded up and placed them on the top deck. They got 48 arrows on this fucking thing. So they got a server worth of fighter pilots on this thing. And that wasn't including the underside base. So I am looking forward to carrying my my company's fleet into action when we start doing those org v orgs. And then the Privateer is just the freaking, like, they strip out a lot of the, so this has almost 4,000 cargo space. I'm going to use this thing as an industrial carrier too, you know, so you can put like prospectors unload their ore bags, shit like that. That's going to be what I use this primarily for. Because, I mean, I got to solo my Kraken. Like, why would you team play this thing? But the Privateer strips a lot of the cargo out and replaces it with shops. And then there's like a Dragonfly Bay up here, which they replace with like a black market thing that can't be scanned by AI cops, which I could give a shit about. I'm going to be operating where that isn't a thing anyways. Anyways, that is it for today, guys. Bit of a ramble about the Kraken there at the end. But thanks again for watching. Feel free to comment below. Throw a like on there if you want. And if you have any questions, feel free to try and get a hold of me in the Discord. I'll be putting the link in the description as well. Right now I don't have a stable streaming schedule. It's kind of, you know, when I have time right now, so I know that if you want to watch, you can throw on the notification thing. But eventually, next couple of weeks, I want to get it to a point where I am streaming at a specific time every day. Make it easier for people to follow if they'd like. Anyways, happy Friday. Hope everyone in the U.S. has a good long weekend. And I will be streaming, I want to say tomorrow night or Sunday morning with the results of the my attempt to get a Kraken. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.